Hello. 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 Some people are here. Thank God. uh, Let me get the comments open here. I just wanted to do a quick stream on Endgame update, and we're getting a lot of draft caddy questions. So I kind of want to just like do an overview of like what all the features it does, and maybe some things that are a little confusing for people in one video format, and then I could just share this, when someone asks me a question. Um, can someone post a comment so I can you hear me? I'm assuming this is going through. Let's see here. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Crutches. Good. Okay. You want Endgame first or Draft Caddy? Any preference? No one cares. Let's do the Draft Caddy first, okay? Endgame, okay. Christopher, Dennis, okay. Endgame. So we have most of the like nuts and bolts almost ready to go. Right, like a website that has like a subscription service, a Stripe payment set up, all the stupid stuff you have to do. Get incorporated with the government. Um, Bank accounts, all that BS is pretty much all done. We got 3 videos done. I want to have like 10 or so or more at least to start. Um, Yuta is in Europe or something like that. So we're gonna have to wait for him to come back. He'll be back pretty soon to start his workload. So we won't be able to go for. I'm guessing within 3 weeks. If we're not up, that would be something bad would have happened. So hopefully we're up before then. Um, but you can kind of see the new logo. And here, I'll share this. Share some of the website. Although we're changing around a lot of the verbiage, it's kind of just generated. Let's see if I can pop this up. Yeah, this baby. So you can see we have videos going already. And then the Discord link, and then this is what we're starting with is just instructional videos. And I'm going to do like a series on making your own ownership, like from scratch, which would also apply to, and if anyone has any questions about Endgame before I move on, feel free, which would also apply to projections. And the first series, like the first video, they're going to be pretty remedial. For some people, it'll be like, how do you do a linear regression on one variable in Excel? Like a lot of people don't know how to do that. And like, that's kind of where you start. And then when you start small and, then all the more complex concepts are easier to understand. And some people will probably just want to fast forward and only listen to the end once I eventually get there. But that's definitely one I want to do, which is, creating all your own projections and ownership, and how I do it. And I know I'm pretty sure most people do it very similarly. I think they do it this way, and then they make some adjustments. like manual adjustments. Like I imagine like ETR, like they get their like base guess on some data research, and then uh and then like pass it around, like Levitan and Silva go like, oh, this guy's gonna be way higher or something, and then they argue over it and adjust it, which is a perfectly fine way to do that. Mike, Rob, I don't get it. Thanks, Al Paul. Everyone's got two first names here. Everyone who watches the channel is a two first namer. You can say Christopher Donaldson's a two first namer. What was I talking about? And so so definitely ownership and regressions and some simple stat stuff, and then move over to R once we get a little deeper in that and do nonlinear. I want to do like a math hacks video for and of course this is all going to be DFS, sports betting, projections, fantasy sports related, right? It's not going to have any examples that aren't useful, like you might find at a typical stats videos. And Orlando kind of makes like a good observation. It's going to be very similar to like my first videos I made. Those are like 4 years old now. And even some of Neil just posted, even some of Nerdy's are going to be so like I made a little Excel simulation for a toy game on one of the videos we did. And then he's going to make, some of them, once you get like beyond like 3-man toy games, like it gets really complicated to try to solve that. And so he's going to have to go, I don't know what he codes in, Python, I'm guessing. I don't know. And code out those examples to show during one of the videos later on, the further we get. Neil, I'm also a first name surname person. Dennis is with us. What other videos will I be doing? I can make tons of different videos, and we're gonna probably like have a channel in the Discord where you can like suggest what you want Yuta to do, or what you want me to do, and then we'll like let people vote on it with emojis, and then whatever the highest one is, if we can do it, we'll add it to the list. And like for Yuta, we're thinking like review members' lineups. I think that would be fun and useful for everyone to like review Neil's lineups, for example, and then he tears you apart, Neil, or whatever. He says you did a good job, but why, and then everyone can kind of gain from his like no ball stuff. So like with him, it's just going to take, his videos, I imagine, are going to be more like those old card runner videos for people who aren't poker players. They're just basically like Taylor KB and Andrew Wiggins and like those early guys just playing poker and talking about their thought process through it. It wasn't the stuff me and Nerdy are doing, which is more like solver based and statistics based. So those videos will be more like that. He'll probably do some slate reviews too. Rarely, he says he can do one live, but I mean, I don't know if I would, because he's got to play, he's got hundreds of thousands of dollars. So he'll probably be live, but early in the day and pretty rare. It'll be more likely to be like a post lineup, post day, which you could still gain a lot from if you're into like the no ball stuff, right? Like if he just goes over his entire thought process of here's why I did this, here's why I did that. And I think it'll, like Alex on our show last week was like, you didn't get a lot from his interviews because he was just saying, I know ball. So like, hopefully he can, expand enough on there where, all the subs will be happy. I'm also streaming to Twitter. I never did that before. Neil, do you stream to Twitter? Like, is it worth it? Like, I don't even know if there's comments coming in through Twitter or what, or how this works. Okay. Um, but yeah, so and then Adam's gonna be our YouTube guy, our content guy, and also contribute with videos like his. I think his first series is going to be like how to use um, like publicly available tools and data, like Baseball Savant. Or I'm not sure everything he uses. Fangraphs. I know a lot of people use Fangraphs. Um, Stuff like that, and they'll probably eventually, who knows, maybe Yuta, maybe Adam, maybe me will do a settings video, like what settings to use on optimizers or sims. I think that could be something that a lot of people would like. um it's just a matter of how much we can get, how much we can get done, and we basically want everything to be evergreen, right? So like, a 400, eventually the 200, 400 videos of stuff you could sign up for next year and be like, oh my god, I could go through, it take me weeks to go through all this, but everything on there is something useful. So it's kind of like, instead of private lessons, instead of a book, there's this. That's basically the initial idea uh, for launching this site, because it's kind of, no one's kind of doing that. And even when like Stochastic first started, like everyone wanted just like the Alex videos, right? And like the transcripts from his Q&As and stuff like that. And they didn't really kind of lean into that. Also, it's like takes a lot of time, and he's just one dude and stuff. So I think it might be, we're hoping it'll be popular. If it's not popular, whatever. It's not the end of the world. And then if it is successful, then we're going to talk about projections and ownership. And we're never going to do contest sims, like 99%. We would do something else. But like is it opportunity cost? I don't know what the term is. I'm not sure it's worth it. Like let's say we have 400 subs or something. Is how much would a different variation of a contest sim, uh, whatever you want to call it, just not the standard version, but a new one. How many would that bring in? Plus, we got to pay for it. You got to have the right coder, which is really hard. And then they got to sit around, customer service, up the ass. How many subs is that going to bring in? And, how much do you charge? Is it worth it to charge it? I'll answer some of these questions in a second, but like my real pet peeve is, I don't want us to make all these videos and then someone else steal the idea and profit off of it. I just can't stand that. So like if we do like a series that like just makes sense to make a tool, like I'm going to push that we make that tool, probably, just because I can't stand that. I know someone else is going to copy it from just like, paying our monthly sub. And that's probably eventually going to happen anyways, but I don't know. I don't like it. All right. How are you going to define successful? I don't know what that means exactly. Did I say successful in some context that I'm not familiar with? I would just look up the Webster's definition. Let's see here. Neil's never streamed to Twitter, but literally just had a convo about doing so last night. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem, Neil, is if you're trying to get to 2K on YouTube. I'm already over 2K. Humble brag. So I probably wouldn't do it till you get to that 2K, which is why, because that's where we stopped. We were like multiple streaming to multiple, like my YouTube, Pete's YouTube. I don't know what else we were streaming to. Twitter. We were streaming to a bunch of stuff when we first started, but we we wanted to drive everyone to like one location and you know, get those numbers up. So we got rid of everything and just did Pete's YouTube channel. And then eventually, like, our numbers are kind of maxed out a little bit, kind of. And then we started, like, I started a Twitch, which no one watches or subscribes to. We have that on there, but we still don't even do Twitter. So, and he's been going up. Like, he's getting close to 20,000 now. So, who Peter Overzet? He's the co-host of a podcast called Lulz. You should check it out. All right. Who am I? Excel for DoFS tutorials would be dope. Yes, I am. Okay, exactly. That's what I figure, Christopher. So, like, and also, you can get a lot done in Excel. It'll be tough to do a lot of advanced stuff because there's only so many columns allowed in a regression in Excel. It's slower to do sims and stuff, but there is stuff. There's lots of stuff you can do in Excel, and I like it because it's very easy for like a teaching tool. You can kind of see, everyone kind of knows how it works, and they get and it's very visual. Where like R is just like, what does that code mean? And then the file goes to your computer file. You don't see it unless you program some shiny app or something. So good. I'm glad at least one person will want that, because that's definitely where I'm going to start. Maybe more of a nerdy thing, but would love help. Good. Okay, good point. Portfolio management is definitely on the list. And it'll be early, so it'll probably be. And if I get bored, I'll probably just stop that ownership series midway through, and then do a portfolio management video, and then go back and finish the like how to create your own ownership and projections series. So that will be next. Unfortunately, I'll already, spoiler alert, it's really hard in a lot of DFS sports to get even anything super useful. It's tough. But again, it's perfect for a video. When is go live target? Okay, I think that means what's like the target date? Like I said, less than 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks. It depends on the big boy, on getting you to back and making some videos. But I'm not worried about it. He should be back in whatever, like 5-6 days. Just based that on some of his interviews. I don't remember what that was in context of. When is this going down? I think I just responded to that. Showed up a bit late. Yeah, it'll be mine. Nerdy doesn't do ownership. I'm like 95% sure he doesn't do ownership. So here's what the process is going to be. We're going to make a series, and then there'll be a Q&A, live Q&A for members. So like if you don't understand what Nerdy was talking about, like it'll probably be me and him, or me and Adam and him. We'll host an hour or whatever live show on the members only, and ask away, because like it's bound to happen, right? Like that something's not going to make sense for everybody. So and then every month we'll do a roundtable of all the bros, just bullshitting about gambling in the videos and everything, and what with member interaction. So that's kind of plan. Series Q&A, hopefully a fun roundtable just for the videos, and then we'll obviously have a Discord, which will have various things on. And this is just all the starting point. I think I answered your question, right? Yeah. So it'll be mine. I mean, they're pretty good. I think they're pretty good. And here's like the thing is, what this happens a lot of this type of stuff is, if you're the type of person who's going to sign up for this anyways, you're probably just going to get ideas. Like you're probably not going to directly copy the way I do it. you'll probably be like, oh, I get it now. Okay. Oh, you know what you could do? You could do this, this, and this, right? And then try to improve on the process. And like whatever my golf is, my R is whatever, like close to 8 or I don't remember. Try to get it higher than that. And then keep it to yourself. Neil just got big timed. Almost surely, almost everywhere things. I actually agree with that. Sorry, Neil, you got big time, buddy. You got big time. Yeah, sure. Experiment with Twitter. I'm not telling you how to run your channel, pal. You know that. I'm just saying. Okay, so Neil's down with the Excel. Okay, that's perfect because that's where I'm starting. Yes. Oh, am I getting spammed? So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but the new website I showed earlier is all. I'm pretty sure it's all WordPress. I'm not doing it. My brother's doing it. Context. You said that. Oh, if this is successful, we'll move on to tools. Successful will be in the eyes of the founders or partners or whatever you want to call the four of us. So if the guys are all down, then we'll do it. But like, if it's like a drain and it's not making any money, but everyone's putting in tons of time and other sites are stealing the ideas and profiting off of our content or something, it's like, fuck it. Like, we're not going to add anything, Yeah, I mean, so like, there's no way I can just say if we make X amount of dollars, then we'll do it. And it also will depend on because there is like we are talking some coders, and if things work out, that would change the equation because then you got like a pro who knows what they're doing, which makes it way easier than paying, and then me and Nerdy have to handhold, some idiot. Of course, they're not an idiot. They know how to code, but like they won't know the world we're all coming from. That's like I must have went through 20 coders over the years for like building my back end stuff, probably even more than that, and the draft caddy, blah blah blah, because they don't know what any of this stuff that you guys know, like the back of your hand. They have no clue about week 17 correlation or DFS or what lineups are, or they know how to code, but like, so like, and especially to get the cheaper coders, generally English isn't their first language, and they don't even know what the NFL is. So these are all things you got to take into account. This is the entrepreneurial problems everyone faces, which is why people don't do it. Yuta eating grapes from a vine. I could see that, or maybe like ping pong. Not ping pong. Beer pong. Is that a beer pong bar? All right. Okay, cool. Thanks, Pigskin. Appreciate it. Stuff on Okay, there you go. That's another obvious one. Yeah. See, this is what I can't think of everything I would do off the top of my head, but like I could do at least 10 really good series right off the bat, like that we could. But like, and then members suggest like this is what I would like to do, and if more people like that, then we'll just prioritize those. That's kind of the game plan. Like we'll have this initial catalog and then finish up whatever we got to finish up, and then prioritize based on what people have. We're still talking about it. I don't know. So like I remember back in the Card Runners days, they kept screwing with their price structure, because I think like people were signing up, digesting all the videos they wanted, and then quitting. And then so it's like, you know what I mean? Like they'll do like 4 days or something, and then they went to like you have to pay the whole month, and then they went to like you have to put like a deposit on 3 months, but you can quit, but you don't get some of it back or something. I can't remember. That was so long ago. It was like 20 years ago. So you kind of gotta like because we aren't doing the projection and ownership thing where your users are like they need it every day. So you're not really worried about like your customer is gonna either not want the product or they're gonna want it every day. Where this, they could kind of just come in and so like, how much would you pay for a lesson from Nerdy Tenor? How much would you pay from a lesson for Utica? How much would you pay for a book? Like, but we also, like I said, we want to avoid plagiarism and stuff like that's another thing too, is there's like nothing you could do. We were looking into it. People could just copy the videos and then put them. So that like, that sucks. You kind of count that in. And we don't want is a strong word. I think our target market, and I'm not speaking for everyone in this video, this is just would be, we don't want guys who are going to play cash games against Yuta. So we don't want like McLaughlin or anybody, you know what I mean? Loves bases. I'm trying to think of the other guys. We don't want them. We don't want people from content sites who are just going to snipe our shit. And then people who probably shouldn't sign up. I don't even know if that's the right word. Like absolute beginners. Like we're not doing any beginning. There's tons of beginner material out there. Like if you don't know what correlation is and stacking and, stuff like that, that's going to be another like group of people that will be at Roto Grinders or something like that and whatever. And that's fine. So like we're looking at that healthy middle there, where hopefully, but I imagine it's going to be a lot of like really good players, hopefully. Brian, will you have content on where to get historical data? Maybe that might be good. That might be a good one for Adam to do, but that's not. I would probably scrape it. But you could also buy it. Like the NBA. What's the NBA tools one? There's a big NBA one. I cannot stuffer or something. NBA stuffer. Maybe that I wouldn't put that high unless everyone wanted it. So can you start? That would be fun. Now I could actually have my own team where we do the tout wars. Although I don't know, I don't think we're touts, but whatever. If you want to call us touts, call us touts. Eastern Euro coders do not know scroll the fuck down. Do they even have that yet for DFS, Matt? OnlyFans. Okay. I mean, if you watch enough lulls, Pete has the occasional nip slip during the summer, during tank season. Okay, so, and we have done a naked yoga stream, which got a lot of views. So might not even need OnlyFans. Why do I not get this? I don't get that. Sorry. We got to get to draft Caddy here in a second. Maybe for strategy, you could pick one for each month you sub. Maybe. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, like reward people for like staying on there longer. That's a good idea. Slate breakdown, team takes, hot takes, stays current. So that's kind of So Adam's going to continue to do this. Is the tentative plan. Adam's going to continue to do his show, his breakdown at whatever noon or whatever it is Eastern, 11:30, whatever he does it. That's not going to change. The only thing that'll happen is probably, one of us will pop on his show every now and again. So that's going to continue, and we're going to do some more best ball stuff. That's the next on Nerdy's list, is solving certain best ball structures, and how to do it. And then the tools question is the obvious one after that. And I'm not sure what we're going to do for best ball, in that, best ball tools, like the game theory tools. But anyways, I don't know. I think best ball is awesome for streaming and engagement with people. People like, people love it. I really hope Underdog prioritizes it and doesn't, switch it up and focus too much on sports betting. I think it's kind of our version of poker. So I love it. It's also good for content because like you can ask Nerdy this. Like he can't really utilize his own skills in best ball the way he can in DFS because you have to draft live and it's against the terms and services and et cetera, et cetera. So it makes sense for him to do a lot of content in that, even though he's a pro, because he can't, what's it called? He can't multi-table like in poker. He can't 150 max everything over $4 on DraftKings, etc. Okay. Mean projection to medium for I'll just tell you that the way I used to do that before everyone else started doing their own props, which I think I was the first there too. Not really. In DFS, I was pretty early. You just sim that. That's the easiest. I mean, I thought it was the easiest. So you have, where's my finger here? So you have, your distribution of your player through a sim will give you that distribution. And then you have your prop point, and you seriously just count. So if it's over, you count 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, right? And then convert that to percentage. And then, you have to adjust for the line, the big, and decide if you want to bet on it. But I mean, yeah, that's certainly a video. Like we don't, if anything, we might bring in a sports betting person. We can do stat stuff for sports betting. I'm not sure how much game theory is in sports betting, but there's only it's only up to a limit where I'd probably want to bring in somebody who's a stud, and there's only a couple guys I could think of who we'd want. Even my sub on, interview them. Yeah, that's similar to the you reviewing someone's 150 set or 20, whatever, even cash game doesn't matter. Another thing I thought is him reviewing like Levitan's lineup, or reviewing popular players' cash game lineups would be just great content. I don't know how evergreen that would be. I don't know, but I'd love to see it. Right? Come on, tell me I'm wrong. Eliminator seems solvable currently. Yeah, maybe. I'm guessing Showdown. Yeah. Chad was a guy who aggravated a bunch of completed drafts last year. I think he was about. Oh, okay. Yeah, still, it doesn't matter. Reviewing best ball or I'm not sure he would review best ball, but same kind of idea. Single slates, yes, exactly. All right, let's do Draft Caddy. You just review one RPS versus one ship. All right, let me share this. And feel free to keep asking questions on that, but I'm going to switch over to the Draft Caddy. We have, not everyone is at the same level of, let's see, is this it? Yeah. Computer skills as everyone else. So if you install, here's like the Draft Caddy page. If you just use the Mozilla store here, it's just like it just automatically installs, right? And it automatically updates. It's in the store. You don't have to do anything. Now, Chrome, those bastards, they just will not improve anything related to gambling anymore. We've deleted a whole bunch of stuff just over and over 4 or 5 times. They keep denying us. It takes like a month to get them to even look at it. So you have to do this manual install if you love Chrome and you just refuse to use Mozilla. Okay. And now there's directions on here how to do it. You download it You extract it to some folder, make up a folder on your desktop or something, and then you go to this page of Chrome, which is this extensions page, right? And you can see the Draft Caddy right here. You just go low. You have to click this developer mode on, I think. Yeah. Click developer mode on, load unpacked, and then you load wherever that file was. And then see this little S up here? Let me see the screen. Can you see the S? You can't see the S. Okay. There's an S up in the toolbar section. And if it's not there, you just use the little puzzle piece that says extensions and then pin it. And then once you do that, I guess I'm going to see the StreamYard doesn't show pop-ups. So I'm just going to have to screenshot this. So let me share this. Can I share Paint? Can I share MSN Paint? There it is. So this is what the S pops up. You just log in with your email that you use. That should be the same, like identical, with caps and everything, to your PayPal and Brick75 account. And then you click Settings, and that will bring you to. I know this is boring. I've been meaning to do this for a while so people can. And my camera's right in the way of my screen, so I have to like look up look like an idiot to where I could find. Where's the settings page? Oh, I don't have it open. That's why. Here it is. Okay. So, and then this brings you to this settings page. The stuff that everyone wants right now is this week 15, week 16, 17 correlation. It's under this best ball columns tab. And you literally just, I think it starts default blank, and you just go in here and select. Now, a lot of these aren't up to date. Maybe we'll add some stuff later on, but week 15, 16, 17 playoff strength of schedule is all on there. And then if you want to do ownership, NFL underdog exposures down here. I think entry fees probably works too, maybe even position. And the way you do ownership is by going to your ownership on underdog and click capture. It's in the bottom left corner. Are those errors normal? There's like some old error that we need to remove and we just never have on that little extensions load page. It doesn't affect it at all. Yeah. So just forget about the errors. Everything will still work. DK, it will be updated today, tomorrow. Crutches. So it should have a whole bunch of little fixes. The draft capital will be on there. But less people use DK, it seems like, so there's not as much pressing need. Okay, and then the underdog draft settings. And you also have this will work. This also works on drafters and DK. Okay, then you could go to underdog, and then here's the drafters and DK. This is for that auto drafter. So you go to underdog settings, underdog draft settings, and you scroll down. In default, these will not be highlighted. These will be like blank. You have to move a slider to get them to work. Like just move something a little bit. And then these will all be the defaults will all be similar to this. So you have your position maxes. You know, you could set to whatever. You have the same team max. What's the maximum you want from one team? I usually leave it at 3, but if you are fine with 5 or 6 or something, just move it up. this enable dynamic position max, wide receiver excluded, is if you take a stud, like let's say you take a QB in the first or second round, it will drop this to 2. It'll drop it by 1. If you don't take one early, then it'll leave 3 as a possibility. Right? That makes sense. Like, let's say, you take, I don't even know who's going number 1 now, Lamar Jackson or something. Like Josh Allen last year. If you take Josh Allen in like the second round, then you don't need 3 QBs. You're saying if you don't like that, just unclick it. And then there's 3 different styles. So for each. Oh, and this doesn't highlight on there, does it? Let's see if that highlights. Can you see the crank in purple, 0 tight end? So like 0 tight end lowers the tight end, all the tight end rankings. 0 tight end raises just until you take one, and then it goes back to normal. And crank in purple just raises them all. And that's basically the same for 0 RB, hero RB, and robust. Those are kind of your 3 options there. And then if you go down, we got QB correlation, right? And I think the max right now is 50. So the max reach is 50. And we're probably going to add a slider for that so you could lower it. So like if you crank this up to 100 or whatever, it'll go like 50, 80 P spots max to grab a teammate. So you could go pretty high if you're comfortable with that. To start looking for the QB teammate correlation. Same team and position correlation. This is a negative. So some people don't care at all if they have like 2 RBs from the same from Miami or something. And if that's you, just drop it. But if you kind of care, you leave it at 25 or something. If you really don't want that ever, just jack it up. Then you won't get guys from the same position from the same team. Just tight end, wide receiver, QB, and RB. The same game. This will be removed in the next update. That is for actually I might not even update it. This might be gone because that is for the playoff. I think the playoff format, not the regular best ball. Week 17 and 16 correlation. You guys are, I'm sure, well aware of. Jack it up as you see fit. I use it more as a tiebreaker, but some people want to actually actively go after that over ADP and then have at it. And if you upload your own ranks, well, let's finish this, then I'll do that. Playoff schedule right now is not being used. As soon as I update it, and I'll talk about it on Lulz, then you could decide if you want to use that. Avoid same position bye week. This is like the same thing with the teammates. The more, I don't really want guys from the same bye week overlap, so I keep it pretty high. But you have the option if you want, if the ADP is there and it fits your team and your draft capital and everything, you want it. And then this is require 1 by each position by what round. So if you're not comfortable like not having a position filled by round 10 or 12 or 5 or whatever, move this accordingly. And then if you want to upload custom ranks, you could go this download where are we here? Underdog Battle Royale. Here's the best ball version. You could just go to this download. It doesn't really matter. Download sample, and all the samples will be in there. You just download the right one for best ball and then upload. Put in whatever numbers you want. Just leave the headers as they are. Names in the first column, and then the other 3 columns, put whatever you want in there and upload it, and it will show it. And if you do ranks, it will use those ranks in lieu of ADP. Okay, let me go to questions, and then I will do one more thing, and then call it a stream. Okay. DK gives away so many tickets. Yeah. I'll play some DK later on. Definitely. I think playing closer to lock is the better strategy. The barbell approach, I don't know. I need someone to convince me that it's that much better. Like some of these guys, they're paying so much attention that it makes a lot of sense. Like you guys can get pretty crazy over best ball. So like for some of you, I could see it. Same thing with the DFS no ballers. A certain percentage, Yes, but for the majority of people, no. Um, yeah, that's true. Like the absolute peak, like best ball guys, a lot of them just like they like doing it themselves. And I'm going to show the other features in a second. I don't know. For me, I like having it more like a poker tracker HUD. I don't know why they wouldn't, but is that a percentage boost? Which part for weeks? Yes, yeah. Well, it's not a percentage boost. No, it's a correlation boost. So if you have a guy, a guy who is, let's say the players on the left side in available to be drafted, if they share the same week 17 as players on your team, their their correlation is, I guess, essentially it is a boost. Yeah, they'll be ranked a little bit higher, but because of that correlation, and you're adjusting it however you see fit. Like, do you want them to go down and reach 20 spots, or raise that up? Um, okay. Biggest issue I've ran into with the auto drafter and TK is even early. Sometimes it doesn't follow my ranks. Okay, that should be updated. Hopefully, there's no breaking of the DK ranks with this. With the next update, Nicole will release it in the Discord, and you should get a notification. Okay. Yeah. You got it. You got it. Okay, let's go actually to Underdog. And go to a draft. I'm not actually going to draft, but perfect. But people have been asking for an explanation on what all these stats mean. So I'm going to do one more of that. Let's see here. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. So obviously here's where the stats, and then I'm going to have a question for people, but here's where the week 16, 17 correlation go. This guide me is your auto draft button on Underdogs is a suggest button. It won't auto draft for you. This is the grab exposures button here. And then up top, and then your draft capital here is based on Leone's last manifesto. If he releases another one and it's public, I'll update that information. But this is all based on each pick has like a draft capital allotment number. And based on his research, you want to kind of be in these buckets of draft capital, and they go down, and it's not very linear, I don't believe. It's kind of top heavy. So like I barely got into bucket one here. Oh no, I didn't even get into bucket one, did I? Yeah. I didn't even get to bucket one in this draft, right? So I wasn't drafting early enough. I had too much QBs. I think this was an auto pick, this Anthony Richardson, now that I think about it. Like, I don't think I got my pick in. So that screwed me up, right? So there probably would have been a wide receiver, and I would have been perfect in my buckets. But that's what this buckets means. So this is constantly updating. You'll see whatever your next pick is and what the value is, and you get used to it. Like unless again, like if you're one of these guys who draft constantly, they kind of don't even need this. They're always pissing yellow anyway. So, but like when I did the stream with Neil, he's like, oh yeah, it's harder to get into the wide receiver bucket. I didn't even think of, I've never really noticed that. And then it'll help guide you. And then if he updates it, who knows what those changes will be. I imagine it's probably not too far off. And the addition this year is up here. I'm looking at Jay Timber. We got two numbers here. The first number is the standard deviation of his picks from best ball 4, right? Isn't that last year? Last year's best ball. So when he drafted last year, and then the second number is how many drafts he did. So he did a full 150 last year, of BBM4, and his standard deviation of ADP is 7.1, right? And then you have that for each one. So like, how loose are they? So these guys are all very tight. And this guy's kind of loose, this T royalty guy. And then the other thing is, unfortunately, it's one of those where I can't show you because the pop up and StreamYard does. I'm trying to get a screenshot. Let's see if I can get a screenshot. How the hell do I get a screenshot of this? Let's see. It's not popping up, but if you hover over J Timber or any of these guys, if you hover over that, it'll have a pop up with more stats. And I guess I'll just describe this again since maybe the print screen will work. Let's try that, Crutches. Let's see here. Oh, you might be a genius, sir. You are. It's official. Crutches is a genius. Crutches is a genius. Or I'm a boomer. Either or. Okay, let me share this now. We got 51 minutes here. Okay. Okay. So, so this is I did Buzzards 2000 or whatever. So he had 72 drafts. His standard deviation is 7. But if you hover over, you'll get this pop up. And so it compares the average 150 maxer. So everyone who 150'd last year, what was the average of that cohort? So their average first pick of a QB was 68. Their average pick for RB was 31. Their average pick for a tight end was 90. Their standard deviation, ADP, was 8.5, which is why I said 7.1 and 6.0 and 6.1, 7. It's pretty nitty because it's less ADP deviation than your average 150 maxer. Now, I would assume you probably want to. They're probably more right than you are. We don't have best ball solved yet, but I'm thinking it's more looser than people think. And especially being less than the average of the 150, he'd probably want to up that. And then standard deviation after 167 is like kind of the scroll the F down. So you want that even wider. So the average is 12.8 and this guy's 9.6. So so like late picks, he's not scrolling the F down at all. And then you could use this information to your advantage, obviously, right? You can, if you're on the turn, in like this guy who's got like 6.1 standard deviation, is picking after you, or he's on the turn and you're in the 9 hole or whatever. You can assume that if there's like some value there, he's probably taking it. And if you want that player, you should take them. But if he's kind of got a super high standard deviation, you could let that go. You could take that chance. More, you might get screwed, but you could more likely he's less likely to take it with a higher standard deviation. And then, guys with a lower standard deviation after the 167, same thing. If there's some obvious late round guy that everyone takes, he's going to take them. And I mean, you probably shouldn't be taking that anyways because you want the ownership advantage, which is why your standard deviation after 167 should be higher. And then what else do we got here? The average build, how many players you want per team. So like this guy was low on wide receivers. Again, you could use that to your advantage. He's probably not going to be pissing yellow. You might be able to pass on a wide receiver on the turn or whatever and get it back with this guy. He's probably not getting his draft capital buckets to those optimal numbers if Leone still thinks those are optimal numbers anyways, that we're suggesting you should get to. So So like, yeah, you could kind of play your opponents a little bit better. Closing line value is this is a tough one. It's really more just for fun until if I really want to dial it in a little bit more. You would think closing line value would show who the good players are, but it kind of doesn't, because if you just draft on the last day, like every time you get value on a pick for whatever reason, let's just say in that draft no one took Josh Jacobs 10 picks late and you take him, you just got 10 picks of value, right? And you can't, as long if you're just picking by the highest ADP on the last few days, like you automatically are going to have a lot of closing line value. So it's kind of hard. You can adjust for all that stuff, but I don't know. I'm not sure it's even worth it. I always thought it would be just fun off-season stuff to talk about on Lulz. Value hound ratio is more useful. So this is if are they taking players are they taking players, for value, or are they dropping down? Are they scrolling down more frequently? So anything above 50 is the average with the 150 maxers, which is kind of surprising to me, but anything above 50, they are just chalk donkeys. They're just any ADP they see, like someone's at like 70, something like that. Like they're just, if there's a high 80, if there's somebody there who's just sitting there, they're taking them, the vast majority of the time. And someone with like low, like some of these guys are getting down to, I think, like the 0.3 range or something like that. They're getting their guys. They're scrolling down. Again, that's more information you could use to your advantage. And scroll the F down is different than that. That is slightly different than value hound, because you can value hound in any round, except maybe the first pick overall or something. But you could value hound in any round, but scroll the F down is just those last, I can't remember what the cutoff is, 3 or 4 rounds. Did the person scroll like 15 picks or more? I can't remember it was like 15 or 20 picks. Did they scroll down? And then how many times did they do that per draft? And so the average is 1.62 for the average 150 maxers. And again, so this guy is under that, so he's pretty nitty. And hopefully he's not watching this. Sounds like I'm talking mad shit. And maybe nitty's right, but the 150 maxers are looser. And so, and I would think, my guess is you should be even looser than that. And so, so this guy is not scrolling the F down at the end of drafts. And looks like they're taking slightly more than 1.5 players per draft scroll the F down. So that shows you that a lot of 150 maxers are already scrolling the F down, which kind of sucks. We don't, we want to be doing that. We want them to just take the guy who's going to be 100% owned with the same projection distribution, right? That would be, a win for us in every draft. But yeah, so you want to be taking, so like I would say like closing on 2, closing on 2 would be a good number. You're taking in those last 3 or 4 rounds, it's probably 4. Last 4 rounds, like 2 of those guys, you're scrolling the F down. You still have to make your, if you only have one tight end, you really need another tight end. You just take the tight end. Obviously, you still have to win your pod, but I think that number would be. This is my guess. Is you want this at like 2? You want this at probably like 0.4. This doesn't matter. These are probably pretty close to right. The average builds. That's my guess. I bet those are about right, and they'll probably be pretty close to this next year too. But maybe I'm wrong. Standard deviation after 167, I bet like you want like 18. And standard deviation, I bet you want like 12 to 14. You might even want this to 20 and this to like 14. And then, this stuff I think is just more useful information of like trying to guess who your opponent's going to take than what you should build. I think if you get all this stuff dialed in and just all the standard stuff, this will take care of itself if you're hitting your buckets and stuff like that. And then sometimes, just like whatever, McCaffrey will just fall to you, just take them. Right. Okay. I think that's everything on the draft caddy. I can't think of any other questions anyone else will have. Oh, I do have one more thing. I want to see if there are people watching this still. Is we want to add. Well, let's read this question first. Suggestion: the colors used for the three teams can be tied to performance metric based on a season win total. You know what? If you're in the Discord, maybe we could flush that out a little bit more. A little hot dog said it's closing value 60. Must have did all the. That's possible. Yeah. Or yeah, did it? I mean, I think it's the opposite. I bet he did them all like on draft, like right before lock, is more likely. But you never know, I guess. So the other question is, if you look at here, Pete wants to put a little matrix right here, which would have week 17, 16, and 15, and then we'd populate the opponents of your picks. So like, let's say your first opponent, whatever is Seattle, Carolina, and whoever, Bears. Populate that here, and then your second pick will be here, and then your third pick will be here, maybe 4. And then as soon as you get a stack, it moves all of it over. So your stack will be populated first, and then your next highest players will be over here. And then if you get 3 guys from the same team, they'd be first, and the 2 would be here. And then so you could see, what teams you're trying to keep in your mind's eye for week 16, 17 correlation. I thought it would be cool to add a little. So let me share this. A little. So right here, if you upload your ranks right now to the draft caddy, it populates right next to the player's name, Derek Carr. There's a little number. I don't have custom ranks loaded, but you kind of don't need that anymore because you can upload custom ranks directly to Underdog. So I was thinking of replacing that, or maybe adding another number next to it of how many times this player who's still here correlates with your team, with your current team. So like, let's just say Derek Carr for some reason correlated with like 4 players weeks 17, 16, or 15. He'd have a little 4. And like, let's say Foreman was like 10. You'd be like, oh, well, this guy correlates with like 10 of my playoffs, my playoff opponents. So I think that would be useful. But he's more down with the matrix, and we could actually do both. Now that I think about it, depending on how much it costs to get that coded in. But let me know if you like that idea, if you've made it this far. And we don't have any more questions. So I think that's it. We've gone an hour. Appreciate it. That's the update. That's a little DraftKings tutorial. Got everything done I wanted. Peace. Thanks, guys.